company do you think would hold that Bible? And even if, but of course, our politicians also are funny. I think they can still swear, but they know that, yes, money did change hands. Secondly, efficacy and efficiency. If today you have a succession case, and Wakili here will tell you, you're looking for letters of administration and you go to the government printers, it will take you sometimes up to 60 days just to have your a grant printed on the Kenya Gazette of letters of administration. But here is a person who is impeached at 11 in the night. Before even 1 o'clock, the government printers have already printed a Gazette notice to the effect that he's been impeached. The Gazette notices, the speed at which Gazette notices come out for political process is too expedient, because Kenyans are here waiting. I mean, you do something, sometimes you want to change your name, because maybe the name on your birth certificate is not the same as the name on your passport, because you have found a job, maybe a house girl's job in Qatar. It takes you up to 90 days, sometimes 120 days, to just, maybe the name was Leah and it was supposed to have been Lydia, to change that, 90 days. But there's a horrible process in Parliament where they're removing someone who should otherwise have stayed in office. I mean, keep your skunk, you came together. Now, that process, you get those papers coming out very quickly. So I feel that what concerns Mwananchi is not important to them, and it's not important to government printers. What concerns them is important to them, it's important to government printers, and it's done in record time. These are some of the things that we need to, as a country, sit down and say no to. And say, wait a minute, kama ya Rigiji Gazette notice zitakuwa zinatoka within an hour. Even for us Kenyans, what is sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander. We want Kenya Gazette to be printing efficiently, yeah, whatever that is concerning to us. We have so many bills that have been pending in Parliament, bills that are very critical to Mwananchi, that are very important to the well-being of Mwananchi. They have never sat at night on a bill that concerns you and me, never. There is no memory somewhere where they would say one night they were delayed for 5 minutes, not even 10, 5 minutes, because there was a bill that was critical to Wanjiko and Nafula. No. But when it's something that concerns them in politics, they are there till midnight. I have never seen our judges in court over the weekend, Saturday. I have never seen our judges constitute a bench at midnight. I have never seen the DCJ try to take the CJ's role on anything that concerns Mwananchi. Nothing. But when there is an issue that concerns them, in fact, all the times that Parliament has even, I mean, courts have even sat on a Sunday, even when we had Maraga, it was about politicians. It was never about Kenyans. And this is the annoying thing, that Kenyans should be angry enough to say that if you people can have... I work in mediation. I run a farm where I help people resolve their disputes out of court. That's what I do. And I can tell you I'm handling 23-year-old succession disputes, 7-year-old cases, 8-year-old cases. Judges do not have time. Magistrates do not have time for a land issue that is about you and her and every other person. But they have midnight hours. They can burn the midnight oil for things that are about politicians. These are the things that as a country we need to get angry about.
Right. Now, let's take a look at the angle, the political angle. If the impeached deputy president survives this, and already he's in a government that has, shown that they cannot work together, how will this look like for him?
For him, I think first he'll be in the office by dint of our constitution, and therefore at that point, as Kenyans, will be happy that at one point in time, that the constitution stood for us and for one human being, and therefore the constitution can stand for anybody else against all the powers that be. But for him, I foresee that he will have a lot of problems. The goodwill, because politics, as I see and read it, is pretty much about goodwill. And therefore, will he have the goodwill of the president? Will he have the goodwill of the other cabinet members?
Parliament, Senate.
Parliament, Senate. But remember, he doesn't need the goodwill of all these other organs, but the goodwill of his boss, the president, because constitutionally, his role is that he is supposed to be the principal assistant of the president. Therefore, that is where he draws his job. if the president does not give him a job for the next 3 years. So you can imagine he will be roaming freely. He will be wandering all over. Just somebody is drawing salary and he's not working. And you will see a problem, and maybe Fanyamambo will be able maybe to explain. The current president, when he was deputy president, that's why you said that this phase seems to be a phase that we, we have gone through as a country. When he was the deputy president during Uhuru Kenyatta's presidency, he didn't have anything to do, and therefore he politicked from morning to evening, all day long, and he was in all corners of this country, everywhere, in all villages, and that's how he ascended into power. And if you ask me, if the president is not careful and this guy, Rigathi Gachagua, comes back to office by dint of the constitution and the courts, he will have a run for his money, because this guy will be in every village, every corner. You're not giving him job, so the only job he has is to go and meet his people, the people who voted in for them. And therefore, he will go, and you can imagine, because he doesn't have a goodwill from the president and the government of the day, you will not expect him to go to Kirugoya, to go to Laisamis or wherever and articulate government policies. He will be the opposition within government.
I see.
Yes.
Now, impeached DP Gachagua warned Professor Kindiki of him suffering the same fate. And one of the things I asked our panelists yesterday was, is Professor at a strong standing opposition right now? You know, should he, let's say, suffer the same fate as DP Gachagua?
First and foremost, what is the president's role? Just speaking from where he was, the deputy president's role is to be the principal assistant to the president. What has been the main job of the Kenya Kwanza administration? Lying. So if he's not given duties, then it means he's not all over the country lying. He's not deputizing in lying. Okay. It is fine not to deputize in lying and move around saying things that will not happen. And if you think I'm lying about lies, tell us wapi gasi ya shilingi 300. Tell us where tuliambiwa tutakuwa tunapiga simu kwa soko, hakuna bundles kusumbuliwa, hakuna airtime inaisha. Tell us. I mean, there's so many things that they bottom up. Where is it? Where have you seen it? Who has touched it? Who has smelt it? Who knows about it? So being principal assistant means that if your duties are relieved of you, then the duty of even lying to Kenyans is relieved from you. Then the next question becomes the question of Kindiki. You know, Kindiki has been known to be a yes sir kind of person. So I think he would fit in well. He would take instructions, he would yes sir, to the end of the term. I think he would make a very good vice president, not deputy. You know, there was a time when we had a vice president who lived fearfully and who knew the president can fire him on the 1 o'clock news. He would live in that kind of situation for the next 3 years. And then we find ourselves in 2027 for the general election. But the way things are moving, this government needs to be careful, because they're always manufacturing a crisis. And then Kenyans react, and then they wonder what is wrong with Kenyans. But they don't see that they are the source of the crisis. So this is an administration that is beyond help. Even churches have given up on it. And when the church gives up on you, they are saying that even her prayers will not help you. Then I don't know who is with you. Because now I have seen and it's not just one church. Very many churches have given up on this administration. And that's the last line of hope. So as a country, we are just saying we love our country, but we don't love our leadership. And it is possible. There's a time when America has had a rogue president not so many years ago, and they kept saying we love America, but we separate our love for America from the administration that is in place. So some people come in here saying that we are not happy with this administration. They think we hate Kenya. No, we love this country so dearly, but we are completely and totally divorced from its leadership.
Right. Yeah. Now, there's an aspect of being given an appearance of transparency, yes, and having appointed officers checking elected officials, which is what should be, you know, the case here, whether it would be this administration or not. but most political analysts are saying we do not have that happening. We have a case of transparency, but not transparency happening, and a case where you know, appointed officers are not checking elected leaders.
Yes.
So we're looking here at the judiciary, and we're looking here at you know, the legislatures. So
Yes.
what's your perspective on the same? Is it fair to say that?
I think this is squarely an issue of separation of powers, and the person who has been seen to be an enemy of democracy and separation of powers is the president, sadly so, and may not be in my position to say so, but all facts and indications are that he has become an enemy of democracy from day one. You remember what happened from day one is that when they won, his party, which is a party leader, I think they went to Northeastern, there's a party I think called UDM, and they bought all those members of parliament. He came to with them to the National Assembly, and they decamped, or he bought them, they entered Kenya Kwanza. And then you'll also remember, shortly thereafter when the speaker was being elected, there was the issue of the majority and minority party. And by law, it would surprise you right now that the majority party is Azimio. And those are facts, those are not things that can be convoluted. But what they did in the National Assembly is that they brought members from, I think, Jubilee, UDM, and then they decamped to that side, and therefore they became majority. But that's how we killed the democracy and by extension, separation of powers. Therefore, when we see these bad manners of the executive running and spilling over and running the show in the legislature and parliament, we only have to worry very much for our judiciary, because at the end of the day, when all is said and done, when all politicians do all their madness, when the executive does all their madness in implementing the law, and the National Assembly and Senate does all their madness in making bad laws, our last line of defense as a country, including the president's last line of defense and the politician's last line of defense, is the judiciary, is the court. And therefore, if as a country, as a people, we allow our judiciary to be infiltrated by bad politics, we might as well say that now we don't have a country and we have given up and given the country to the dogs. Because that judiciary is what will protect you, is what will protect a poor person from whatever village, it is what will protect the richest person in the country, it will protect the president and everybody else. That is our last line of defense. We should never allow bad politics, bad manners, or any influence of any sort to penetrate the judiciary.
Right. So what are the political ramifications after this process, whether it goes in favor of, you know, impeach DP Gachagua or not? And also, another thing, as you could also answer this, has the broad-based government, you know, made any difference until this juncture?
It's called bread-based government. It's about eating bread together. It's nothing broad there. I have always said you can't be an amphibian. You're a frog. You're in government and then you're out of government. You live in water and on land. No. I have never seen that bad manners anywhere in the world. You have to make up your mind. You are either completely and totally in government or you're outside of government. So for those people in ODM who keep saying tuko ndani ya serikali na tuko kwa opposition, that nonsense doesn't happen anywhere in the world. In fact, maybe the world needs to come here for benchmarking, just to learn how horrible bad manners people can have of being in opposition and being in government. It doesn't happen anywhere. Whatever we borrowed, I mean, I think the world has a lot to learn from Kenya. And one of the things is just come and study how it is possible for somebody to be a minister in government. And then the people in parliament who are supposed to be checking him, the leaders of minority, come from the same party. That is an absurdity that shouldn't be happening. So ODM needs to make up their minds. They need to remove their orange and just wear yellow and have that wheelbarrow on their markings and just move on. You cannot do that. But politically, the ramifications is that muliambo musiguze mulima. You know, the mountain has this problem of being very sentimental. and voting based on emotions. And I had them say, unajua tuliwapatia mtoto wetu akiwa mzuri, wamemrudisha akiwa mgonjwa, na hata hawakuenda kumpelekea Raibina na Lucozade kwa hospitali, hawakuenda kumuona. That for them means that their son has been mistreated, taken to hospital, and those who mistreated him didn't even have time to buy him Lucozade. I don't know where Kenyans believe that that's one of the things you must take to somebody who is sick. And some flowers and some fruits they sell near the hospital there. So they haven't gone to give him yogurt, which is the standard procedure that when somebody is sick, you take that. So the mountain is disillusioned. The mountain is not with this administration. And I was somewhere over the weekend
because
where...
of time, I'll just also move you to this particular angle. Does Professor Kindiki have political pull from where he comes from?
No. Professor Kithure Kindiki comes from the Tharaka, who are about 200,000 people.
Yeah.
And even
So
not
does
all
he
of
have
them are
pull?
even with him. He's not carrying anything, he's not bringing anything. It's just the same way Kamotho had nothing to bring to Moi. Moi even had to split a constituency into two and give him Mathioya. Professor Kithure Kindiki right now is not carrying the Meru with him. And one thing you need to understand about Meru politics, Meru has got 4 legs. The Tharaka, the Imenti, the Tigania, the Igembe. And the Tharaka, unfortunately, the Merus look at them as, you know, I don't want to use that word, but they have a very condescending attitudes towards them. And so, you know, so that will not happen. And in every community, they usually have a smaller subgroup that they look down upon. And so when you elevate that one, it doesn't make any difference. So I think this is an exercise in futility. It was imagined that it would split the mountain into Meru and Kikuyu speaking. That will not happen. It has not happened. In fact, the people of Meru are very disillusioned with what is happening. So do not dare imagine that they are celebrating. You should have seen celebrations in Meru when Kindiki was announced. At least I saw celebrations in Kisumu when some people were made minister. This is an announcement for deputy president, and I didn't hear even anybody slaughter one chicken in their home because this has happened. In Kisumu, there was a lot of celebration and there was a lot of hype on the road. So it tells you that it is a bad taste and that it's not going to work. And by the way, if the law is followed, he's not going to be DP. If the law is followed. But if we do these bad manners of not following the law, then he's going to be DP.
All right. Let's get your final comments, Newton, on this perspective. Like you said earlier, we do not have a constitutional crisis, according to you. Because one of the things that lawyers do, both of you are lawyers, is you interpret the law in different ways.
Yes.
But we need a standard. Yeah.
And mostly,
yes,
that interpretation sometimes is dependent on the fee note and the person servicing the fee note. So therefore, therefore the person servicing the fee note.
Now here without a fee note,
yes,
and all that, like,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
we don't have a constitutional crisis, and
we do not have a constitutional crisis. And I did explain to you and the viewers why I don't think we have a constitutional crisis. It is because we have a substantive deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, by dint of not one but 2 court orders, one by Justice Mogo and the other one by Justice Chichamuita. And maybe on a parting shot, I would look into what is going to happen today at 3:30 p.m. In court. And I am foreseeing a scenario where I would not want to be in the position of Justice Ogola and Mrima and the other judge. I wouldn't want, and the reason is this: we have put them on a hot seat where we are telling them, can you redeem the judiciary? We are looking into the judiciary, and we have allegations or insinuation that you are in bed with the executive. So kindly show us that you are not, and therefore we will be looking at 3:30 and saying, how is the judiciary going to behave? And if it were that we proceed with the panel as it is, we will be looking at the timelines. As Dr. Gamino was saying yesterday, where is the rush? The clouds are not falling. Let us do it the right way. Let us protect the Constitution. Let us protect everyone's Bureau of constitutional rights. Whether it is about a local man, Rigathi Gachagua or anybody else, let us protect everyone's constitutional rights.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for that. Now, your final comments, briefly, Kinuthia, as we wind up the conversation.
I think let us be the people who doesn't matter what is written in the Constitution, but people who do the right thing. Moi Kibaki led us under a very archaic constitution, the Moi Constitution. But he led us as though he was using the 2010 Constitution. We have people who are using the 2010 Constitution, leading us as though we are in the Moi times. What we need is benevolent leaders, leaders who say that this is wrong. Whether people can see me or not, this is wrong. Whether the law had envisioned that provision or not, I am not going to do this because this is wrong. So I'm urging us as we go into the elections next time, let us not elect horrible people, because this problem begins with us voters. Let us elect people who, if you, for example, people keep asking, where do we get these leaders? Sometimes you go, you are leaving a matatu and you drop your wallet or something drops from your purse. And this person is rushing all over at Anashuka stage a fight to give it back to you. Those are the people who should be voted for. So let us look for people who have good manners, because regardless of what the law is, if we have people with good manners, this country will move forward.
All right. I want to thank you both for coming here and having this conversation and helping us understand what is happening, you know, politically and also in the courts. Because, you know, there's, like I said, there's a mix-up in interpreting this particular laws. So this is much needed, rather, this conversation. Thank you so much for watching, our viewers. And I just want to apologize for not putting up our question of the day, despite the fact that we also appreciate you sending in your perspectives and comments, rather feedback on the same. We had asked you, is President Ruto right to take Rigathi Gachagwa's impeachment case directly to the Supreme Court instead of the High Court? And we have so many, so many of you responding, so much of your feedback. Peter Irari says he's trying to overturn the Constitution rights. Wesley Wise Kim says he might also be impeached for undermining the High Court. And the last one here says the president cannot change our well-written constitution. Power belongs to the people. He started this impeachment. Let him follow the law up to the end. Thank you so much for watching Morning Vibe. My name is Remmy Majala. Our guests today have been Fanya Mambo Kinuthia. He's a lawyer and political analyst. And we've also had Newton Madenge, advocate of the High Court of Kenya. Thank you so much for watching. See you again tomorrow.
Catch every thrilling moment of the English Premier League. The German FA Cup.
Harry Kane! Harry Kane scores! How many times have you had that?
La Liga. Serie A.
Marcus Thuram! What a start to life in the Milan derby!
And all Manchester City games.
He goes and Stones and Haaland!
Live on K24. This season, K24 is your playground for champions. Don't miss out. Tune in and watch the best football from around the world on Maskani ya Machampe, live on K24. Game ni 90, lakini ball ni 24/7 hapa K24.
Step into a world of emotions. Relationships.
Kumbe mama, ulikuwa unafikiria kuolewa tena? Yaani unijaleta kidogo, wewe ni mbaya.
Dilemmas and complexities of life.
Mwanamke hamhitaji mwanaume ili aweze kuwa na furaha.
Love.
Vedika, kiukweli mimi nakupenda sana wewe.
Betrayal.
Mimi ni
nilikupa kila kitu ambacho wewe ulikuwa unakihitaji. Lakini leo umeamua kunidanganya na kuusaliti uaminifu wangu.
And secrets.
Tafadhali usimwambie Sahil kuhusu hili.
Get ready for an emotional roller coaster ride filled with drama.
Sahil wangu yuko wapi? Nataka uniambie Sahil yuko wapi? Sijafanya chochote kile Sahil jamani.
Passion. And unforgettable moments. Don't miss Aapke Ajanase every